How was your relationship with your father? Was he more strict or loving? Maybe he wasn't home much, or maybe he took great care of you. Did you know that around 70% of all people have a difficult or painful relationship with their father? I personally had a close and good relationship with my father, but I only really noticed how many negative influences it also had on my life when he passed away last year. And maybe you've experienced something similar, that you only truly understood your father's imprint on you much later. If you don't know me, hi, my name is Annie, and in my community, it's always about not only finding your purpose, but also living it. And honestly, I find the second part a little more challenging. Today, I want to talk with you about the father wound. And before we dive deeper, I've prepared a meditation for you, the Son Within Me, a practice for healing the father wound. You will find the link below this post. So, what is the father wound? At first, it can be something very individual, especially if you're one of the 70% of people who didn't have a good relationship with their father. But there's also something bigger at play, the collective father wound. And this imprint is stronger than you might think. After the shift from matriarchy to patriarchy, feminine energy was often pushed into a secondary role. Maybe I'd even say an oppressed role. And this affects every one of us energetically. We all carry both energies within us, the masculine and the feminine. Masculine energy was originally rooted in the root chakra, safety, material protection, survival. Through many years of patriarchy, this energy has risen into the solar plexus chakra. And today it revolves around themes of power and self-worth and willpower. At the same time, feminine energy has also risen to the from the sacral chakra, which was focused on creativity and fertility, up into the heart chakra. Today, feminine energy is much more about love and connection and compassion, and that shift had a profound influence on the energy centers in our body. An unhealed mother wound is often felt in the heart area, while an unhealed father wound sits in the solar plexus. And this is where our journey begins. We will look at how the father wound affects you and what happens when you heal it. So, what are the typical causes of the individual father wound? We can distinguish three main themes here: absence, conditional love, and abuse. Let's start with the absence. Many children today grow up without a present father figure. In Germany, for example, the divorce rate is currently around 35%. And for a child, a separation is always a shock because on an unconscious level, they almost always give themselves the blame. For women, this can lead to difficulties trusting men. They may develop fear of commitment and often find themselves in unstable relationships. For men, absence shows up differently. They lack a role model for inner stability. They struggle with self-worth and with the ability to make confident decisions. Another central theme is unconditional love. Conditional love, sorry. That means I love you if you bring home good grades. I love you if you're quiet and you do as you're told, if you're successful, perform well, and meet expectations. So many fathers often unconsciously tie love to conditions. They never learned how to simply love without a but. For the child, this means constantly feeling the need to prove themselves. Love is not experienced as something natural, but as something that has to be earned. And this can leave deep marks. For women, It often shows up later in life as being overly accommodating, trying to please everyone, fighting for recognition in relationships, or being stuck in constant self improvement. For men, it can create intense pressure to perform. They tie their sense of worth to work and career and money or status. But no matter how much they achieve, deep down, they never feel enough because love was at its core conditional. Conditional love creates a constant sense of, I'm not enough. It can lead us to treat ourselves in the same way, only approving of ourselves when we perform, when we're strong, when we appear perfect. The third major theme is abuse, physical or emotional. Abuse always intensifies the feeling of powerlessness. It strikes the solar plexus, the center of self-worth, strength, and agency especially hard. Physical abuse often arises when men haven't healed their relationship to their own physical strength. Instead of serving as protection, that strength becomes a threat. It can show up as direct violence, but also as an aggressive, intimidating energy that lingers in the room like a constant shadow. For the child, this means deep wounds in the solar plexus. They experience loss of control, helplessness, and a broken trust in their own strength. But abuse doesn't always have to be directed at the child themselves. Witnessing violence against the mother also leaves deep scars, especially for sons. This creates a profound sense of helplessness. I couldn't protect my mother. That feeling can stick. It shapes self-worth and sometimes for a lifetime. The result, often what could be called a broken solar plexus, weak trust in oneself, the belief that you can't help others, and a deep inner retreat from your own strength. And if you already feel touched by one of these themes, I invite you to try my meditation for healing the father wound, the son within you. Because all of these experiences, absence, conditional love, or abuse, they leave deep imprints. Together they form the typical consequences of an unhealed father wound, and these consequences often stay with us unconsciously well into adulthood. The father wound blocks the solar plexus, the energy center of self-worth, of abundance and personal power, willpower, and the ability to take action. When this area is weakened, it becomes difficult to truly accomplish goals, to manifest projects, or actively create change in your own life. Instead of stepping into their own strength, many people experience a sense of lack, a lack of money, of opportunities, of support. Life seems to provide just enough to get by, but never what truly feels fulfilling. Decisions also become harder. Without the inner support of healed father energy, clarity is missing. Many people postpone decisions, hand over responsibility, or they feel blocked when it comes to choose a direction. Then there is the issue of self-worth, the feeling of I am not enough. It runs through many life stories. It shows up as perfectionism, the constant pressure to do more, to achieve more, or as self-sabotage when someone makes themselves small at the very moment it matters most. An unhealed father wound can even shape a person's entire outlook on life. Out of childhood disappointment often grows an attitude of pessimism, or what looks like so-called realism. But underneath, it is really a lack of trust in life itself. Optimism, lightness, the confidence that things can turn out well, all of that becomes hard to access because the foundation of trust is missing. Relationships are also affected. Someone carrying an unhealed father wound struggles to be a safe and stable space for others, especially in challenging moments. The ability to stay present, to offer support, to truly be there, it's missing. And finally, the father wound shows up directly in the inner masculine. When too little masculine energy flows, it creates insecurity and indecision, a retreat from responsibility. When too much masculine energy is at play, it shows up as dominance or hardness, anger, the pattern of my way or no way, while suppressing the feminine aspects within. This imbalance reinforces all the other symptoms and makes healing even more difficult. To sum it up, without healing the father wound, the solar plexus lacks a stable foundation. And without that foundation, self-confidence, manifestation, and healthy relationships remain limited. When the father wound heals, your whole life changes. A healthy relationship with your father, even if it exists only on the energetic level, acts like a new foundation. Suddenly, your solar plexus, the center of your inner sun, is freed. And this inner sun begins to shine into every area of your life. People with the healed father line develop a more optimistic outlook. They trust that life will carry them. They trust that they can reach their goals, and they trust that obstacles are not the end, but an invitation to grow in strength. With this new inner foundation, self-confidence grows. You begin to feel comfortable in your own skin, independent of outside validation. You stop measuring your worth by performance or by meeting other people's expectations, and instead anchor it in yourself. Deep down, you know, I can handle challenges. I am enough. So a healed father wound also shows in very practical ways, like money, possessions, resources. All of that flows more easily. Not because it suddenly falls into your lap, but because your solar plexus is in balance. So when the masculine energy within you is freed, your power to manifest opens. You can create the life you truly desire. At the same time, healthy boundaries emerge. You can feel more clearly when a yes is truly from the heart and when a no is necessary. So you learn to set boundaries without guilt and to take responsibility consciously without overwhelming yourself. And your relationships shift as well. With the healed father wound, the ability to be reliable and present grows. You can give your partner or your children the safe space that you may have long missed yourself. Instead of withdrawing or avoiding responsibility, you stay. You stay stable and strong and connected. So a healed father wound means more than just making peace with your past. It gives you a new foundation, trust in life, self-worth, stability, clear boundaries, and the capacity to create healthy relationships. I've brought you 5 tips for healing the father wound that you can start practicing right in your everyday life. Healing the father wound is a process, and it can begin with small steps. So here are 5 gentle ways to get started. Stabilize your solar plexus. Place your hand on your belly, below the rib cage. Take a few deep breaths into this area. And imagine like a gentle golden light becoming brighter there. This immediately brings you calm and stability. Another tip is to write it off your chest. Take a piece of paper, start a release letter. Write uncensored everything you never said to your father, whether anger, sadness, longing. You can use prompts like, I'm angry because, I'm sad because, I'm disappointed because, or what I needed back then was. This letter never has to be sent. Simply writing it down releases the pressure. Start observing your patterns in daily life. Pay attention to the moments when you make yourself small, when you hand over responsibility or you don't speak your truth. These moments are signs of where your father wound is still active. Simply becoming aware of them is already an important part of healing. Practice healthy boundaries. Today, say a conscious no when you feel something isn't right, or say a clear yes when you truly want something. Every small, authentic yes and no strengthens your solar plexus. Or use my gift for you. I've recorded a guided meditation, The Sun Within Me. In this journey, you connect with the strength of your paternal lineage, cleanse your solar plexus, and open yourself to the new energy. You will find the link below this video. You will notice every small step brings more light and more confidence into your life. In my community, I'm often asked questions about this topic, and I would like to share some of the answers with you. Maybe you will recognize yourself in one of them. My father has already passed away. Can I still heal the father wound? Absolutely yes. Healing the father wound is an energetic process. It's completely independent of whether your father is still alive. The father wound is an energetic imprint in your system, and healing happens through your own field, through meditation, through conscious connection with your father's soul. Energy knows neither time nor place. Second question is that I often hear is, I don't feel anything when I think about my father. Nothing at all. Does that mean I don't have a father wound? Numbness is a protective mechanism of the soul. Sometimes a veil is placed over the pain until we're ready to feel it. That doesn't mean there is nothing there. In fact, it often indicates that something has been deeply repressed. Your mind will only allow as much as you can handle. And maybe now simply isn't the moment for a big breakthrough. And the last question I got for you is, I don't have any contact with my father. How do I go about this? Physical contact is not necessary. The work takes place within you. You release patterns that are stored in your system. It's about your healing, not about the outer relationship. And maybe you can already sense healing the father wound is not just a personal process. It reaches far beyond you, back into your ancestor line and forward into generations yet to come. I would like to invite you to use my meditation, The Sun Within Me, to support the healing of the father wound. You will find the link right below this video. I want to thank you deeply for your courage, for your openness and your willingness to engage with this subject, for your presence and your light in this earth. Before we close, take one more deep breath and feel your feet on the ground. You can imagine golden roots growing deep into the earth. She holds you. She nourishes you. Everything we have moved today can now settle in your body, safe and centered. It's all good. You're good enough. I send you soul love from soul to soul. Annie.